coaches are in. When you need a timely, transparent friend, tune into the coaches are in. Talking career, business, health, and wealth. You've got a friend now. Into the coaches are in. With authenticity, come on, let's take a seat and tune in.
Hello.
Hello.
Happy Monday. We're excited to be back here at the Coaches RN. And tonight we are, we are reflecting on the lessons that shaped us, stretched us, and helped us grow. Then before we jump into that, we'll just quickly introduce ourselves for those of you who are tuning in for the first time. I'm Dr. Sharita Weatherspoon, the creator of the Coaches RN and the CEO of the Aligned BizCo, where I help professional Black women to launch, grow, and scale businesses for profitability and purpose.
Wonderful. And I am Allison Garrett. I am your behavioral interventionist, and I work with women who struggle with identifying that one thing that has them stuck without years of therapy.
And I'm Dr. Malika, and I'm your confidence coach, and I help you build confidence on your journey towards success, as well as tap into the greatness that was in you starting at birth.
Awesome. And we are the Coaches RN. So we're excited about this episode because this is another opportunity for us to just kind of share from our own experiences. And while we do that a lot in our other episodes, it's kind of different when we're just kind of like telling our own stories and really just opening up and giving, a peek behind the curtains.
Right.
Kind of what happens behind closed doors and, in the private spaces of our lives. So we're excited about that this evening. And we're going to kind of let the conversation to be organic and, just kind of see where it goes and see, what we end up telling y'all that maybe
Let it flow, let it flow, let it flow.
Right. All right. So let's start off by we'll kind of go round robin on this, and each of us will share like a lesson, and it might not be like the biggest lesson that you've learned or anything like that, but just share something that you've learned that helped you to move further, like in your life or business or career, whatever the case may be, but something that really shifted something for you and allowed you to move further.
Ooh, yes. All right. Which lesson? Dun, 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 dun.
Yes. Okay. Well, I guess I'll go.
Go ahead.
Go first.
It's funny because today I talked about, I did a post on the whole idea of faith. And I think that understanding that in business, and in life, we're not always going to have the answers. And because, I think all the three of us can say this, but, to me, I'm learning more now more than ever that faith in God has to be the norm. Like walking by faith has to be the norm in business for me, because I am embarking on a very new business model, direction, journey, whatever the word you want to use, and I can't see every step. And it's been like that, it's been like that when I worked in my 9 to 5. It's been like that, in my life. But I feel like sometimes you just got to own, like, this is the way it's going to be, and that's okay. And so I'm learning that, walking by faith, and I just keep saying that has to be the norm for me, because I think if I keep saying that, it will help me to flip the switch when I start to get anxious about what I can't see. in my
Mhm.
business. But let me just say this, even with my kids, like you have a set thing that you want them to do and you can't see it, or they're not moving in that direction. So you have to have faith that, okay, things are going to work out. They're going to go as planned, but it may not be my plan for them. So I think
Mhm.
that has really shaped me, especially lately with my business. Um, I'm walking through some doors that are pretty scary to me, um, because what happens is when I start to get nervous, I get anxious and then I self-sabotage or I just
Mm,
stop. And when you stop, you don't show up,
Yeah.
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So that creates the sabotage. And
Right.
so I'm not going to do that this time. I'm like, I'm going to keep going. But as a result of that, it's been pretty different. It's been new and it's been like this feeling. So I think
Mhm.
for me, it's just been, I got to walk by faith, and that has to be the norm in my business practice, as well as planning and being diligent. Don't get me wrong. There's still the planning, there's
Mhm.
still being diligent, there's still doing the work. But even when you do that, sometimes you step out and you're like, is there going to be something underneath me when I make this step?
Right.
So
Yeah, that's a good one.
Mhm.
Yeah, it makes me think about how, of course, like we said, lots of lessons, right? But I think one of the biggest lessons that moved me from one period and area of my life to another was really understanding that no one owed me anything.
mm,
And
Yeah.
I went through life so long believing that because I had so many horrible things in my childhood or growing up, or things that I felt like I didn't have, I felt like someone owed me something.
mm,
So, in that mindset, I could only think of myself, and I did not have the capacity to think of other people.
Mhm.
So, when I really started understanding what that really meant, it meant that I needed to be accountable.
Yeah.
I needed to be responsible.
mhm,
And there was no one else that was responsible for what happened to me. And also, that meant that they were not responsible for my healing.
mm,
Yeah.
So, in that process, the one thing that I took away from that is I could no longer be a private failure that appeared to be a public success.
Mhm.
So
girl,
my lesson
that's
was, if
good.
nobody owes me anything, I owe it to myself
Mhm,
Mhm.
to live a life that was not a private failure and a public success. That's when I
Mhm.
started telling all my business. That was liberating. That was the point where it's like, okay, so that people aren't whispering about what they heard or what they think. I just made everything public. So if you heard about it, you probably heard it. If you heard it from somebody else, you probably heard it from me too.
mhm,
So it was
mhm,
just that authenticity in my life and taking responsibility for my healing, and no longer living according to what others thought of me, but just what I knew for myself, and
Mhm.
faith and know who God created me to be, and none of that stuff really mattered. So
That's
that was the pivot, the major pivot.
right. That's good.
good. That's good. So, one of the major lessons for me was that, like, recognizing that it doesn't matter how you show up, people, there are going to be a group of people who are going to love you.
Mm-hmm.
There are going to be a group of people who are just indifferent. They could take you or leave you, like whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And then
Mm-hmm.
there's going to be a group of people who hate you, regardless of how you show up. So just show up authentically. Just be who
Yes.
you are. Don't try to fit in, make your place and
Mm-hmm.
try to, accommodate everybody or relate to everybody, because you're not going to be able to do it anyway.
No.
Like it doesn't, you're just not going to be able to please everybody. So it's just to show up, be who you are, because that's the easiest thing for you to do anyway. And then
Mm-hmm.
the people who choose to love you, that's who you give your time, energy, and attention to.
Right.
Oh yeah.
Don't worry about the ones who are like, well, she ain't cute and she ain't all that, and she got that, she thinks she got that doctorate degree that's gonna do like okay, like you're obviously not for me. Like
Yep.
Right.
Yep. Take it or leave it. Take it or leave it.
right. So it's just
Right.
like, so just be who you
Mhm.
are. And there are going to be people who love you for who you are, and there are going to be people who just who no matter what you do, it's not going
Mhm.
to be enough. It's not going to be the thing that they want you
Right.
to be. So just be authentic, be you, be comfortable in that, and recognize that. I kind of hate the saying of like you're enough, or like you're more than enough. Like I don't really
Mhm.
like to use the word enough, because there's still
Mhm.
something that sounds slight
Like less.
in
Yeah.
saying like enough. Like you are all, that.
Right.
You're
Mhm.
not just enough or more than enough. Like you are all that, you're everything.
Mhm.
Just be that. Just be that. And that is more than sufficient, more than adequate. And love those who
Amen.
love you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Sounds like alignment to me.
Yeah. Yeah.
She can't help it. She can't help it. It comes out.
This just comes
Right.
out. Yeah.
So let's share something else. Like, what's another lesson? So like if you shared a lesson that's more so for business, maybe share something that's like more
Mhm.
personal now, or vice versa.
Mhm. Yeah. Mm.
I would say for me, I'm learning how to be consistent in who I am.
Mm,
I think I practiced for years switching it up, you know,
mhm,
the IS, right? The imposter syndrome, but showing up. And that's even in my own community. Like, just
right.
like, but I think that comes from, if I could be so transparent, I think it comes from, you know, most people who know me know I didn't grow up with my parents. And I think when I look back on my childhood, there's trying to be this way for this parent so I can get this attention, and this way for this parent so I can get their attention. But I lived with these people who had other expectations, and my cousins live down here, so I'm trying to fit in with how they live, and then I
Mhm,
go back home and it's like, don't bring that up here,
Mhm.
and
Mhm.
I think for years that's what I know,
mhm,
just. And so I think at 52, I am realizing, and I've been praying this, like, Lord, I want to show up and just be who I am. And
yeah.
that is scary because
Mhm,
of acceptance, because of, will people accept who you are? Like, if you get smart, like, sometimes my mouth is smart, you know what I mean? I'm trying to come back. It's not that I mean any harm, but
Mhm.
I've always been a pretty like chatty person, but
mhm,
Mhm.
yet when I get around certain environments, I'm like, I'm going, 'cause I'm not sure if you're going to accept. So I think for me, it's learning at this age how to be, or walking out, or how about
Mm.
undoing, um trying to fit in. I think you talked about a little bit about it just a few minutes ago, and really just like, Lord, who am I? Who is Malika Turner?
yeah,
Mhm. Mhm.
Not doctor, not mom, not wife, but just like, who's Malika? Who was Malika Moses supposed to, like,
yeah,
how was she supposed to
Mhm.
be?
Mhm.
And reconnecting with that little girl without all the drama,
yeah,
Mm. Yeah,
so
that's
that
good.
she walks in who she's supposed to be with the new name and the new roles.
right.
So yeah,
That's
that's
good.
kind of where I am. And it plays out in every aspect of my life. So I'm trying to,
Mhm.
like, just try and be me.
Yeah.
Mhm, mhm,
Yeah. You know where that is.
Mm-hmm.
That's good. Um, if I look at more present, I think what my lessons are now are constantly reminding me that I need to deal with the internal and not necessarily worry about the external.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So, like
that's so
Dr. Sarita
true.
said, like it's like showing up, right? Like we could show up
Right.
here 2 times a month, You know, we get ready, we get dressed, we put on our jewelry, and I got new glasses today.
They nice, girl. I like the new
But
glasses.
I think and being in the beauty industry, right? So people are so focused on how they look. We don't want wrinkles, and we want our skin to look good, and just all the external, but we are neglecting the internal. So my lesson is I have to start learning to pay more attention to what's happening inside of me.
Yeah.
And yes, my nails could be done, my feet done. I get my facials regularly, all those kind of things about the outer appearance.
Right.
And my season that I'm in right now is about the internal, right? And it's not just about managing, right? So the things that have affected me my entire life internally, I could say stress, right? So stress for me is internal. It doesn't show on the outside. It's not like people look at me and say, oh my God, you stressed out. Is everything okay? Like no one knows. It's an internal battle. So trying to cope with that, I have learned that my lesson is not to learn to cope with stress. It is learning to eradicate it and not do the things, participate in the things, accept the things, show up for the things that create that stress internally.
Right.
So where I am right now, the lesson is, Allison, don't focus so much on the external. Don't focus so much on how you look, where you are, what you're saying, who sees you. Focus on the internal, the things that people aren't seeing, and let that be an outward expression. That means inward, if I'm like cringing to commit, it's like, just say no, right? Or inward, if I'm cringing to anything that just is unsettling, I am learning no longer just tolerate, but eradicate.
That's good.
Yeah, absolutely. I think another lesson for me is around how I would view other people's reaction to me, or like issues that they might have with me. And it's not to say that like some of that can't be genuine, like I did something to offend somebody and they have an issue with me, like yes, that could have happened, but really like beginning to examine just how like some people engage and interact, and it's like, okay, like there seems to be an issue here. Right?
Like, is it me
It's about, and you're trying to figure out, like, are we fine? Oh, like we cool, but it's like, but I feel like we cool, and really beginning to just accept that, really doesn't have anything to do with me. Like, and it may not even be like they really have an issue with me and they don't want to say it, but it's showing towards me. Like it literally may have nothing to do with me, but just for some reason I'm on the receiving end of it. And being able to not internalize that and then reciprocate with my own offense, but really just kind of like releasing people, like especially if I reach out and it's like, it seems like something might be a little off, like we need to talk or whatever. And you don't say, yes, there is an issue, or like, you know what I mean? Like if there really is something there and you're not willing to talk to me about it, it's like, okay, well, I can't press the issue. If you're not going to share, which means we can't resolve, then it's just going to be what it's going to be. But just sometimes just recognizing that some people's stuff is really just their stuff.
Right.
And then what I have to do then is protect myself from your stuff.
Right.
And being okay with whether it's a temporary release or a permanent one, to just kind of like, I don't have space in my life to hold that for you. And because I am so very much more focused on loving my life, and I think with both of you, I've shared like this, like just having this conversation around like we're all over 50, right? And this realization that we likely have more years behind us than we have in front of us. And and just like, I'm not trying to waste it on no nonsense.
Right.
No, I'm with you on that one,
Right.
sister.
Right. Praying for
Yes.
good health. Health is wealth. I'm trying to have good health every day.
Oh my gosh. And you know what?
Mhm.
That makes me think of something that I was just recently talking to someone about is, you know, why is it that there's this constant focus on the delivery or what
Mhm.
I say, right? Why does the change why does the change have to come from me in what I'm saying and how I'm behaving? Why can't the other person be held accountable for what's triggering them?
Mm-hmm.
And like you said, it's like I
Mm-hmm.
can't be responsible for how you feel about something that I may have done, didn't do, don't know if I did it, maybe it's somebody else. But why do we have to be the ones to hold all the space for
Mhm.
people who are not yet that emotionally intelligent, or they just have to learn how to manage their triggers? Maybe what I'm saying is triggering you. It doesn't mean that what I'm saying is
It's
offensive.
meant to trigger you. It's not meant to trigger
Oh,
you.
see,
Right?
see, oh, see, that's
But see,
exactly
that's what happens when people don't get therapy or get some
Right.
kind of assistance to help them work through and knock out some of that hard stuff that
Mhm.
because a lot of times people don't know how to deal with their own
Right.
emotions, but they do
Mhm.
know enough to project back on you
Yes.
Right.
to
Yes.
make
And
you
that's
the
and
enemy.
that's their way of managing it, right?
Right. That's the
So
way.
like Dr. Sharita said, it's like, how do you're putting yourself in a space where do I really want to be? The lesson is, do I want to walk on eggshells around all the people that I'm talking to at this big age, right?
Yeah.
Like,
Mhm.
no, I want to be able to say what I want to say. You say what you want to say. We both grown up and we just move on with it. But it
Right.
makes you feel like you can't even really interact with or have relationship with people who bring that out of you.
Right.
Mhm.
Right.
So
Mhm.
it's like the
Right.
lesson is who's for you is for you, who's not, leave them where they at and protect your peace.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, and the thing is, because I think some people would be like, oh, like, well, that's not right, especially like if you're in a relationship with someone and you're supposed to support them and all of that. And it's like, well, to a certain extent, but
Mhm.
like your healing is ultimately not my responsibility. There are things that I can contribute to your
Mhm.
healing, but it is not my responsibility. And when your process of healing or lack thereof begins
Mhm.
to negatively impact
Mhm.
me,
Mhm. Mhm. Can you
therefore
say that
causing
again?
me to need healing, I need to create some space there.
Yes. Yeah, that's good. That's good.
You
That's a
know?
that's a lesson for the ladies.
Mhm.
Ladies.
Yeah.
Sometimes you do have to create space because it's
Mhm.
healthy for you. And to be honest, we know that people, they don't always respond to that positively. It's like, it's like, oh, she doesn't talk to me, or I haven't heard from her, or it's this, it's that, it's the new friends, it's all these things. But sometimes that is assisting others in healing. I know that
Yeah.
my healing came in the space of like being by myself, where I had no one to rely on, call on, have an understanding about but God.
Mhm.
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 So sometimes that space for you also creates space for the other person, where you ain't burning the bridge, but maybe you just like it's broke down for a little bit until it's built back up.
Well, and it's
Right.
funny because I think about when you're talking, I'm thinking I really don't even have like I remember when it was so important to have a lot of friends, but I
Mhm.
really at this age I don't. I don't have a lot of friends.
Mhm.
People that you can trust with, my life,
Right.
And
Mhm.
as you get older, that starts to change.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
so it's like I think beside my own spouse, it's like, listen, I, like, we have good relationship and we understand each other. That's probably the only person I'm gonna rock out with for life and deal with
Mhm.
some things, okay?
Right.
Because
Mhm.
that's what I signed up for, and I'm okay with that, right? And I deal with it however. I think everybody deals with it however they deal with it. You know what I'm saying?
Yes,
But as far as
yes.
anybody outside of my husband, We need to, there might be 2 or 3 people that
Mhm.
we have an understanding that you know me and I, you know when I'm cranky,
Yes.
you know what I mean? But you still love me. You just gonna give me some
Yep.
space.
Mhm.
Or we need to have an intense conversation, maybe. But
Mhm.
if we know and love each other that much, it won't even be like it's intense. It'll just be
Right.
like,
Right.
I don't really
Yeah.
agree with that.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It's
But
like,
I
isn't
love
that
you
what you
enough that
said?
we'll listen, we'll talk, and it's all good. But
Yeah.
I don't
Mhm.
have that many people in my space anymore. No, I just don't.
Mhm.
And I think
Yeah.
that's one of those life lessons as you get older, because
Right.
I don't know anyone I don't know anyone at this age. Because when life really starts happening,
You'll see, even if you thought
Yeah.
yes, I'm talking about in your
you thought y'all was rocking out, you thought you was the
what?
same kind of
Mhm.
everything. It's like when things is good, but
Like, where
honey,
you at?
Right.
when things ain't good, there likely is not that many people that you could call on real quick in the
Right.
middle of the night, midnight
No
hour, with
way.
no questions asked, no explanation needed, just like a genuine friend, like
No,
where you at? I'm showing up. Might ask
Right.
no,
questions later,
you don't
but
have that. And when I learned that, when my position was eliminated at my 9 to 5.
ooh,
And
see?
when I left, and people that
Mhm,
I was riding and dying for
Mhm.
from a career point of view, like everybody was
mhm,
I compartmentalized really well. You are my
mhm,
work buddy, like you are my homie
mhm,
at work. And those people,
mhm.
I was like, whoa, my heart was broke. When I say
Yeah.
broke,
Wow.
Mhm.
it was like,
Gone.
no, you didn't call me. You're like,
Mhm.
this was happening in my house, so you didn't even check on me.
Yes.
That's
Right.
when I knew, like,
Yeah.
okay. And it was
Yeah.
probably a lesson God was trying to teach me all my life. But as an only
Yeah.
child and lacking and
Mhm.
abandonment, dealing with those kinds of
Right.
things, you're just yearning for people. You just
Right.
always yearning for, you want
Yes.
that. And
Yeah.
I think what I had to learn was, no, but you still have those same 2 or 3 people.
Yes.
Mhm.
They still there.
They still
Mhm.
there, riding with you, listening to
Yeah.
you, crying with you, praying with you,
Mhm.
fussing
Yeah.
at you. And
Mhm.
those are the people that you can rely on. And that was a hard lesson after I left that 9 to 5, because I was like,
Mhm.
dang,
Like, wow, where
crickets,
am I? Mhm.
Yeah.
crickets.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I like to describe like those friends as like if my husband ever go crazy and I need somewhere to hide, I know I can go to them and they're gonna hide me. Like I could be in their attic or their basement.
Yep,
They gonna
yep,
Right.
hide
yep.
me.
And they're not gonna ask you no
That's
questions. They're not
right.
gonna tell on you. They're not gonna
Right.
say,
That's
Gary,
right. I don't
he's
know
right here. Come
nothing.
and get her.
That's like
That's
that.
a good
Right. And I would do the
that's a
same for
good thing to
them.
think
Right.
about.
I
Like,
would
are
do
you
the
gonna
same for
hide
them.
me and not turn me in?
That's like that scene in What's Love Got to Do with It, when What's Love Got when Tina Turner's mother turned her in. I was like, dang,
Like,
mama,
damn, mama.
you just sent her back.
Right.
Yeah,
Good.
nah,
Like,
you
go on back,
going
baby.
back to your
Yeah,
mm-mm.
no, that's
Yeah.
good. That's really good. I
That's a
think
good one.
when you think
Mhm.
about it too, it makes me think, it makes me laugh of how I used to think, because I'm so nice and I do things for people and I'm so accommodating and
Mm-hmm.
I have a big heart. I thought everybody liked me.
But that's the,
And
so they don't have to like you and take advantage of that.
somebody said, Allie, everybody don't like you. I'm like, what?
That is so. I remember in a counseling session saying that. I said, I thought everybody liked me. Like I thought,
Mhm.
and I think it was an intense moment. And people did bust out like, "What are you talking about?
Like,
Like,
what's so
get
funny?
off
What?
yourselves!"
Me?
Right,
Woo
right,
child. That was a
right.
big one. That was like a crush. And if the person who said it to me, because I trusted them, I knew that they were telling the truth. But that was like my moment of like, okay, so all these things that I'm doing and I'm saying, like, these people really don't like me. He's like, hell no.
But
Yeah.
intention. Why do we do
Yep.
those? Why do
Right.
we? What are we? I think when you get to this age, you realize I don't need to do all that. I don't need to please you.
Yeah, that's that
Right.
people pleasing
Right.
stuff.
Right. I mean, if
Mhm.
you're a genuinely at the core of who you are, you're a giving person and it's a nice person. That's one thing, right?
Mhm.
But if it's like I'm doing it but for the intention of drawing you to me, making you
Mhm.
like me. We don't have to
Mhm.
do that anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't do
And even
much of
for
that
the
at all.
first part of what you said is so like a recognition, even if you're genuinely giving,
Mhm.
that some people will take advantage of that, even though they know they
Mhm.
don't like.
Right.
Yeah.
Like,
No,
I don't care, I don't like her.
Right.
Right,
And
yeah, like
sometimes
I
you
don't
will
like
get
her,
taken
but she
advantage of.
look,
Right.
I don't like her, but she having to cook out this weekend, and I
Wait,
got
wait, but I've done
to.
wait, let me tell y'all, confession, right? We
Confess.
keeping it real, right? I've done that in retaliation, right? For
Showing up,
someone that I found out didn't like me and still invited me. I'm like, I'm going. I'm gonna eat her food. I'm gonna drink her drink. I'm gonna sit around, kiki it up, and I'm gonna go on home, even though I know she don't like me. So it goes both ways, ladies. Sorry.
It's all right,
I'm like,
coach.
how can you do that? I'm like, I don't know.
Right.
It's like a toxic trait or something. But yes, I have done that. And yes,
Way to
Yeah.
confess. It's okay.
that's what we're here for, right?
Keep
We're
it honest.
delivering folks tonight. It's
Right.
okay, ladies. If you done that, I done it too. So
Raise your
yes.
hand.
Yeah. Who's been petty?
Petty Betty.
But
And
you
then be
know the
like,
good
Lord
thing
forgive
is-
me. Lord forgive me. Or you start out when you tell somebody, you like, I know this is petty, but I just got to tell somebody what I did.
The good thing is that we don't stay there.
Oh,
Yes.
yeah, no.
Yes.
Yes, we don't
Because
stay there.
now it's just like it's not even worth being
Right.
petty. You know, it's just like I don't have the time or energy for that. They're like that's
Right.
giving
Yes.
you or the issue
Too much
attention
energy.
that it
Yes,
just
too much
doesn't
energy.
deserve.
Mhm.
Yeah, and which
Better
is
spent.
actually like really a good thing, or like it's important to recognize. Like you kind of get to that point. It's like you really are aware of
Self-awareness.
what self-awareness and what is worth their time and energy.
Yeah.
And for you, like it's with especially with somebody in that kind of situation, or like when you get indifferent and it's just like like somebody come and tell you that such and such a person is talking about you or something, and they're fully expecting you to, like, they know you're going to hear it and they want you to get upset, maybe even
Yes.
confront them or something like that. And it's just like,
Okay.
Not
Thanks
at
for
this
telling me.
age.
Thanks for letting me know.
right. Like,
Yeah.
okay.
Well, and those are the
Yeah.
things you did in your 20s, right? We're talking
Right.
about a mature sense of
Mhm.
self, a mature sense
Mhm.
of self, and understanding what am I going to put my energy towards, right?
Mhm.
Right. Right.
First of all, we right, I would say all three of us are at that age where we are probably hearing about more people dying than we ever
Oh,
did in our
child.
life.
Right.
And
And
people
struggling.
are dying
Mhm.
quickly. They're having health issues, mental health issues, all kinds of things. There's
Mhm.
no time. There is
Mm,
no time to spend time in
No.
things like I'm just gonna make myself be around people who I know don't like me. I mean, it's different if you're in a 9 to 5 and you have to deal with
Right.
coworker.
Coworkers and
You got to
stuff. Yeah.
manage that conflict, dot dot dot. But especially as entrepreneurs, as you know, as we are hosts or coach or whatever our businesses are, or where we are, we have probably been blessed to be able to say, no, I'm past that. I'm
Yeah.
beyond that now.
Mhm.
I want my
Yeah.
life to be meaningful. I don't want to spend a lot of time angry.
Yes. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I can't. It's almost like, like we're human beings, right? So you get in it, but like you said, we don't stay there. Like something
Right.
that happened, I'm like, okay, wait, what am I thinking? If I've already spent so much time thinking about this thing or trying to figure it out, it's already costing me too much. So I don't
Right.
want to deal with
Right.
anything that's going to cost me that,
Right.
that
Right.
depletion of energy, because it can be better used.
Yeah.
So an example of that is somebody done ticked you off some kind of way, and you're sitting there rehearsing this script in your head about what you're going to say to them when you see them. Stop that
Mhm.
nonsense. If you
Yeah.
happen to see them, you will know what you need to say if you need to say something at that
If
time.
you
Because
need to say anything at all,
right,
yes.
you probably don't need to say anything. Just seriously, like you are heading in the wrong direction if that is what you are doing.
That's
Yeah.
true.
Like,
Although
that's
I'm guilty of doing that at home. I'm like, you wait till he walk up in here, and I'm not even talking about. I'm talking about my kids.
I know it happened
Talking about
last week,
mine.
but I ain't get the chance to talk to you. So when you get in here tonight, we gonna talk.
It's like, did he just drink my? It's gonna be little things like, did you just drink that? I was playing. Okay, you wait. Okay, this is what I'm gonna say because I know what you're gonna say in response to what I'm gonna say. So I'm gonna word my. I
You
do. I'm
playing
the
out the
best
whole conversation.
wordsmither. Yes, yes, and
Yeah.
that's such a waste of energy.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
is. It is a
Start
waste
with
of
the new.
energy.
Start with the new. That's
Yeah.
low on the harmonic scale.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Teresa
agree.
says you give away too much of yourself doing that. And I think like that's a good
Yeah.
way to put it. Like we said, spending that time, energy, and effort, but it really is like you're taking a piece of yourself and giving it to somebody else, and you're giving them control over that piece of you.
That's
Yes.
so true.
Like, why would you do that? Why would
Yeah.
you do that?
I know.
We would
And
tell
little by
our
little, that's how you
daughters
lose
not to do
yourself.
it.
What'd you say?
We would tell our kids not to do that.
Right.
Yeah, we certainly would.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I said daughters at first, but then I said I tell my sons that all the time.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Exactly.
Doesn't matter. Yeah.
Yeah. So what
Yeah,
do you
that's
think
important. Let it go.
are like what was it in you at various times in your life that allowed you to learn the lesson? Because I'm certain that you went through some of the same scenarios repeatedly before you actually got the lesson. So what do you think it was within you that actually got you to get it?
Ooh, child, it's just tired of the damn lesson. Tired of literally it was like when I talk to women now, or I'm working with a woman and there's like this idea of this dark cloud following her. That's how I would describe it for me. It was like nothing ever worked. Everything was always wrong. I just struggled in every area for so long and feeling like I didn't really do anything to contribute to it. So it clicked for me when I realized at some point, if I don't get this lesson right, I'm going to have to do this again and again and again and again. So it was very taxing to think about. And then actually having the realization of seeing it. It's like, it's a pattern. I recognize the pattern. I'm like, I can't do this no more. I got to do anything but that to get me back in that, keep me stuck. So it was really just realizing that there was more to me, more to my life, more that I was really created to do. And I knew that if I continued to have to learn this lesson, it was just delaying what was already promised to me. So a lot of what I've done and what people have witnessed or experienced or even say to me, like, how do you do this and how do you do that? I said, I look at it like this, like there's this list of things that I desire that God has promised me that I can have, but I just have to do these things. So I literally look at it like that. I'm like, I got too many things to do to be able to stay over here and not get them done. So that was realization. And it's when I started to realize it, it was little by little, right? Like, so you don't technically or typically just stop immediately in anything that you're trying to change or move away from. But the small steps that I took, I started really seeing the benefits of it. And I'm like, oh yeah, I want more of this. I want more of this. I want my board over here that has all the things that I want to materialize, all that. And if that means holding a grudge or not forgiving somebody or having attitude or any of those things, I am checked immediately. Like, don't do it because it's going to stop you from what I promised you.
Well, this isn't the show to talk about it in detail, but I felt like I was giving off an air here where I live to people, let's say to people around me I was giving off an air to the point where I had people giving me things. Okay, I'm like, I'm a full-time working person who lives in a home, who drives a nice vehicle. Like, I don't look like I need. So, and I said to myself, what am I giving off that you think that I need that.
Wow.
And I'm a big, like, I reflect on me, like, where would I pick and I remember growing up, being in positions, and I'm telling you this without telling you the whole story because it's too, but being in positions where getting a lot of handouts. Okay. Now, Sharita, you know how I grew up. I was not under, served population, not at all. Like, my grandparents worked every day. I had, you kind of know the story, but there were times when we were in a position to have access to other people's things, and it was like expensive things. So we accepted those things. And I grew up, I think, because we're spiritual beings, y'all. So it's kind of like, that's what I knew. But even though I was working a full-time job, lived in a home, had everything, I did not look like I was lacking, people were starting to say, here, you might need this. And I was like, hold on. And so I realized that, to me, this is me. If you say, what did I learn? I learned that I was giving off something. And I also learned that there were times when I would shrink in environments. And so that worked hand in hand. Yeah. And when I finally got that realization, it's been a long journey, but I'm like, what are you shrinking for? What are you kind of, I'm going to make myself small in this environment. I'm going to say things like, no, you go ahead. Or I remember one time saying to someone, I'm going to be a great backup singer. Like, I'm always going to sing backup. And and somebody said to me, why would you say that? You can lead, but in my mind, I'm better back here. And I think that that's just been a thing for me that showed up in many different areas. And when people started giving me things, and I was like, okay, I don't need that. Nor did I ask for that. Nor do my kids need that. Like, why are you giving me bags of clothes? Like, why are you doing that? I realized that I wanted to start first with me. And I realized that changed. That was the process when I realized that started a journey for me on showing up before Go Be Great was born, showing up and recognizing the greatness that I am, which does make you mentally feel bigger, and you walk in spaces and you're not shrinking.
Wow.
So I've had to work on that. Ain't nobody giving me clothes no more, child. For my children. But
I don't need that.
I'm like, why are you giving me stuff? Like, what are you? But I always start with me first, because I can't control that. You should know I don't need that, but there's something happening here, and I have been working on that. And I think that's when I realized. I think that's what I realized for me as far as in my business. Like, I have to roll up like a CEO.
Yeah,
that's good.
Y'all know it took me a long time to figure out what I do, because it's like, I don't want to say, what do you think I am? I don't have time for that. I need to know who I am. You know what I'm saying?
That's good. Yes.
Yeah. I think for me, it was a lot of just kind of sitting in this seat where I was always wanting something more or something different, and recognizing that nobody else was holding me back. Like,
wow,
it was me. And just like, then almost like every scenario, even whether like relationships, like, friendships, business, work, or whatever, just like you can't necessarily wait for people to see you for who you are, or to value who you are, and them to gift you the thing that you want. Like, sometimes you just need to go after what you want, and you need to be the person who can go and get it. Right. So some of that, is like born out of frustration and just like discontent or whatever. Just like why am I stuck here? Why? Because you're waiting on somebody else to say you can do this, or open the door for you. So like you got everything. You as in me, you as in you. And you as in whoever is hearing this, you have everything within you that you need to at
Yes.
minimum take the first step. And like you kind of spoke
Minimum.
to this earlier, Malika, saying like you're afraid, like if you take this step, like is it going to be anything under you? And
Mhm.
I always say when you take the step, the ground rises to meet you.
Mhm, that's
Ooh.
good.
All of the resources begin
That's
to
good.
fall in place because you have to demonstrate that you believe in what it is that you want and be willing to make that investment in yourself for anybody else or anything else to begin working in your favor.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's good.
that's good. Yes.
Yes.
All lovely lessons.
Yes.
That's
So let's see, I'm trying to how do I want to close it out because we are over time.
That's okay.
Just a little.
Um, what are you still learning?
Me, I'm still learning to put me first. I've made a lot of progress, and I'm still learning it, which is why I was talking about like, why does it have to be in my delivery, and why can't it be the other person, being accountable? So yeah, I'm still learning how to put me first. Easy just to say in every area. It's my turn.
Yes.
Yeah, this probably sounds cliche, but I'm learning that I am beautiful. Short hair, long hair, weave hair, braided hair, pimples on my face, hair on my mustache. You know what I'm saying? Beard,
Like whatever.
hairy legs. I'm still beautiful, and that's But I'm also still. I think from a business point of view, I'm learning production over perfection.
Good.
Yeah. So I was going to say that I'm still learning to accept my imperfections, although that doesn't mean that I think I'm perfect because I absolutely know I am not, and that's the problem. I know that I'm not, and it's like I don't want anybody else to know that either.
But we all know we all are not. But yes, get it. Yes, that.
But that's pressure I put on myself. Like nobody's ever told me that I got to show up perfect and all of the T's have to be crossed and all the I's dotted. I just feel like, and I think part of it is like because of you got these credentials, right? So people expect a certain thing from you, and you don't live up to that expectation, and they're going to think you're a fraud and all of that. And it's like, girl, ain't nobody ever told you that. Like,
we're thinking about that.
And then you see other people who may even be more credentialed than you, who are showing up in their authentic selves, and to a certain extent, you might even be looking at them like,
yeah, just had that conversation.
Like, wait a minute, they a little ratchet, but exactly, but their success, like it's not a recent discovery, but it took me time to get there. And that it's because they're showing up regardless, and they're showing up in authenticity.
Yep.
And people appreciate that much more than they appreciate your perfection because they can't relate to that.
Yeah, nobody can.
Right.
Nope.
Right.
Yeah.
Good stuff. All right.
So I know that we have a lot of other lessons that we could share. Maybe we'll do another episode before
just the lessons.
One thing we're hiding. That's a good one. What's one thing we hide we don't want people to see?
Let's do that December 31st.
December 31st before we go into the new year.
We start new year, new you.
Right.
That's exciting.
All right. So this has been, I think, another great episode.
Yes.
Great conversation.
Anytime the girls come out to play, the coaches come out to play, it's fun.
Yes, absolutely. So we will be back on September 1st. In full transparency, that will be a pre-recorded episode because we've got some things going on September 1st, Labor Day, and all of
Yes.
that.
Yes.
Can't all be in the same place at the same time. So we're going to pre-record that episode for you, and we're going to be answering viewer questions on that episode. So if there is anything that you want to ask us, we have been getting some questions, but we'll take some more and we'll choose out of the questions that we have to answer in that particular episode, and we'll do it again before the end of the year as well. You can submit your question. You can DM either of us, three of us, right? If you happen to have our email or phone number, you can text us or email us. However you want to get the question to us, you can get the question to us. We will not share your name, so it's an anonymous
And I'm
question.
sure your question will be helpful to all who may have the same burning question.
Or we can just be
Yes.
like, Tamika said. Oh, I'm sorry.
But we won't do that. We won't do that from you and get your questions. And remember, we kind of like, it could be anything. It could be anything. It could be business.
Yeah.
It could
At this
be
point.
marriage. It could be children, career, money, sex. Like whatever you wanna ask us, you can ask us.
I'm gonna let y'all answer that one.
How we choose that.
Oh gosh.
Oh Lord.
Yes, but remember, real, raw, authentic conversations. You know, we are your girlfriends, and we are just sharing from experiences and expertise to help you up-level your life in every area
Yeah.
of your life. So get your questions into us, and we will be looking forward to that episode on September 1st. I think that is it then, ladies.
All right.
If you're watching and you have not liked and subscribed,
Now, do it now.
That's right. Please,
Yes,
please,
yes.
please,
All
please,
right.
please.
we will say good night to the people then.
Ouch.
Coaches are out.
Good night.
The coaches are in. When you need a timely, transparent friend, tune into the coaches are in. Talking career, biz, who got a friend now into the coaches are in. With authenticity, come on, let's take a seat and